Hi, this is Math 1115, remote delivery for May 4, May 5, and this is part 2 of 2. We're going over the solutions to the quiz over Chapter 5 and Chapter 6. You want to have this quiz nearby so you can make notes, and you may want to throttle the presentation to make some opening remarks. The quizzes are for learning, so you should not get upset if you did not do well on this. You should learn from your mistakes. But the procedure is exactly how the final will happen. I will email it to you. It will be posted in Blackboard, and you input the answers online. So learn from that as well. Chapter 7 is on the final, but there will not be a quiz. So that means that John's review and my discussion on May 6th are very important kinds of things. The grading of this quiz is still ongoing, and I will post things when I finish. It's not done yet. You have another project that is due on Wednesday. This is to be self-graded and self-reported, so it's an opportunity for you to do well on that and bolster your grade. I do plan to conduct an individual grade audit before we enter final week, and so that is planned, but the year-to-date total going into the final week will be 2/3 of your grade. The final itself is mandatory. That means that if you do not take the final, you do not get a passing grade in the course, so you have to take the final. And it will count heavily. Use this to your advantage. It will count for 1/3 of your grade. This has always been the plan, and it continues to be the plan. I do realize this has been a challenging term for you and for me. And as I go about end-of-term grading, I think of Shakespeare's words, "The quality of mercy is not strained." Number 1 was true or false, and you're basically pledging that you didn't cheat. And if you said, "Oh no, I cheated," you got a 0 on this exam. The correct answer is true. There will be a similar kind of mechanism on the final exam. Number 2, you were to determine if this ordered pair is a solution to the system. Well, it works in the first equation, but it doesn't in the second. If you substitute these values into the left-hand side of the second equation, you get something negative, and you have something positive, so no, it does not work. Number 3, 2 equations, 2 unknowns, definitely in scope for the final. This one is well solved by substitution, and you should have gotten x is 5 and y is 3. Make sure you can do problems like this. Number 4 was a more difficult problem. You had to multiply all the way through by 9 on the first one and by 12 on the second one before this thing wasn't a fraction nightmare. Here it's solved with substitution. It's probably easier to solve it a different way, or at least do what I suggested, multiplying all the way through by 9 and 12 to start with. The solution you get is x is 0 and y is 3. Again, make sure you can do these kind of problems. And life is a word problem, and so we have a word problem. If you let C be the cost of the candy bars and S be the cost of the sodas, you end up with this set of equations from the words. And then we have to solve those. If you solve those, you find out that a soda costs 2.5 and a candy bar costs 3. This is $2.50, and that is $3. Number 6, you're to determine if the system has one solution, no solution, or infinite number of solutions. And well, if you do some work on this, you say, oh, these two lines have different slopes. That means there is one solution. They intersect in a point. Number 7 is like that, but if you solve this for y, you end up with exactly the same equation, the same slope and the same intercept. That means there are infinite number of solutions. Here's a rational equation you have to solve for k. I suggested that what you do is look at this and realize that k can't be minus 9 at the beginning of the problem. Make note of that, and then you go through and solve it this way. But at the end of this problem, it comes back and it says, oh, k had to be minus 9 for that to be true, but that doesn't work in the original equation, so the answer is there is no solution. Number 9, you were supposed to factor this completely. I probably will favor on the final exam not just raw factoring problems, but the kind of things that we did in Chapter 7 of solving an equation where I'm setting this equal to 0 or solving an equation by factoring. But anyway, the first thing you do is factor out the common factor, and then it factors further by group factoring, and you end up with this is the correct and final answer. Number 10, you refactor this completely, and this is the factorization that you should have gotten at the end. You could have had the factors in different order, but that's what you needed to have. And number 11, this was a difference of perfect squares. This is 9t squared whole squared minus 16 squared. So when you factor that, you get 9t squared plus 16, 9t squared minus 16. But this one then can be factored again, because that is 3t whole squared minus 4 squared, so that factors again. So your final answer should be this. This is prime and can be factored no further. Now, more than ever, time is precious. Each day must count. Do the math. It will make you strong. And now, more than ever, take care of yourself and of each other. See you.